Hey guys, this is Callum Wilson Austin at EB Expo 2013. We're here at the Warner Brothers booth with Eric Holmes of the Arkham Origins game. For the people at home who maybe are not familiar with it, I know that you are, so maybe you could give them a bit of an idea about what the gist is.
So Batman Arkham Origins is a prequel to the other games in the Arkham series, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. It takes place many years before those games. Batman Bruce Wayne has only been Batman for 2 years, and at that point he's been fighting the underworld. He's been spending 2 years making enemies, 2 years making a difference in Gotham streets, but also this has been 2 years where he's been the best he is in every fight that starts. So he's been the best equipped, the best skilled, the best trained. It's kind of gone to his head. But what happens tonight changes that, because tonight, where the game takes place, is on Christmas Eve. And on Christmas Eve, the Black Mask unleashes 8 of the greatest assassins of the DC Universe to come and compete for the prize of $50 million that he's placed on Batman's head. Black Mask is currently Gotham's #1 crime lord, and it seems like Batman's number might be up. So the challenges represented by these characters are something completely unprecedented for Batman. And the sort of character that he is at the start, he's really going to struggle to compete with these guys. But you know, Batman is a character who never ever gives up, no matter what. So we have to see some changes in him for him to overcome what he's going to face.
So might we see him be a little bit more humbled by his experiences in this game?
Well, I mean, I think good stories are about transformation, they're about change, and the character that we see at the start is pretty cocky. But we know that the Batman that you've seen in the other games is not a cocky character. He's very controlling, he's very strong-minded, he's very sure what he wants and how he wants to do things. But we have to see kind of the corners knocked off Batman's personality by the sort of events that take place.
So you've had, as part of this sort of like expanding the universe, you've been showing quite a few other characters, both antagonists and protagonists. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the Batcave and Batman's special friend who lives there.
Yeah, so for the first time with Arkham Origins, we're going to see the Batcave in the Arkham series. So this is the Batcave. This is the one that's underneath Wayne Manor. Alfred will be there. You can talk with Alfred. You can use the Bat computer. You can access a training system. And the training system's a really big deal for us in Arkham Origins, because the Arkham mechanics are really very deep. And what we found most people kind of had as their user story for the game was, I played the game, I started the story, I finished the story, and I wanted more of the game. So then I went to the challenge maps, and I played the challenge maps, and oh my god, the game is so much deeper than I thought it was. So we kind of took that on as a kind of a challenge for ourselves, and I hope for some gamers we can kind of change that story a little bit, which is more like, I played the game, I started the story, during the story I went to the Batcave and I played some of the challenge maps, and I went through this thing called training, the combat training in there, and I got better at the game, and then when I was playing the main game, I understood how deep the game was. So we want to kind of change that around a little bit so people are more familiar with the mechanics, they feel more a sense of mastery of the game. You can play the game any way you want, like you can play it all head on and just kind of fire through it, or that person could just start shouting at us and just completely ruin my answer. So how about I wait for them to be done?
She is very loud. She's been doing it all day.
Crossfade. We'll crossfade. We want people to understand the depth of the mechanics, if they want to dive into that and really understand it. And I think that the game has a lot of depth to give them, so they'll understand when they meet new enemies, there'll be some training for how to fight them. When they get new gadgets, there'll be training how to use them. When they unlock new mechanics, the same thing. So these are not the sort of training that you would expect in a game, maybe where you get trapped in a corridor and it says, jump over the crate to advance, and you can't get past it till you jump over the crate.
So part of that idea of sort of training you to be better.
I'm going to continue with the answer just when this
Oh. She's lovely. She's a lovely person.
She's a nice person, but she's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So this is not the sort of training where you're going to have to hop over a crate, you get blocked until you learn it. This is more opt-in skill training, so the player can get put into a fight where he can show that he knows how to use this ability, and so it's going to feel more like a regular encounter rather than some fake artificial hurdle you have to clear. And then when you've done that, you'll also get a bunch of XP from going through this training, so that the player again is incented to go through here and really maximize their skills. It's not getting between you and progressing the game, it's actually helping you progress in the game, and so I think players should appreciate that.
Well, as you mentioned, it was going to be my next question. For the first time, you've sort of put in this XP system. Will players who are, I guess, better Batmen have a different experience than others?
Well, you may not know it, but there was an XP system in the other games. It was just very well hidden from the player, and it just kind of magically worked. So you're playing the game, oh, it's about time for an upgrade, bing, and one pops up, cool, I'll buy something. And what we wanted to do was get more of a sense of I guess, for the player thinking about how the game could be played when he's in the open world. So he sees opportunities to get XP. I know I'm this close to an upgrade because I'm aware of how much I have and how much I need. They're going to dive in, they're going to play as well as they can, they'll get rewarded better if they play better. So it starts to kind of make its own gravy in that they play better, they get upgraded, so they get better, so then they play more, then they can get more XP faster, and it kind of starts to pick up speed. So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, before we wrap it up, I would like to just talk about briefly the world, because it's quite exciting that finally we're seeing Gotham as a whole instead. Is it difficult making a whole world still feel as jam-packed full of content as Arkham City was?
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see the biggest open world in Arkham Origins. You're going to see one much bigger, more than twice as big as what you saw in Arkham City. But Sefton Hill, who's the game director over on Arkham City, I remember reading an interview with him where he was quoted as saying he didn't want to build the biggest open world with Arkham City, but he wanted to make the most intense one. And so we've tried to make, for the same way, for our world, it's full of stuff. It's not a sense of like Skyrim, where you're like, I want to go to that mountain all the way over there, and I'm going to take 3 hours to get there. That's not Arkham Origins. But it's more of a theme park vibe, I guess. And they're like, look, there's that there, I can compete with this. I don't really want to fight that guy. He's kind of scary. I'm going to come back for him later. And there's this scannables and collectibles and all sorts of things all over. So building more of a sense of a very vivid world with lots of things to do, and giving the player lots of choices to how they want to spend their time in the open world. And with Origins, again, giving more of that feedback, giving more of a tree-like upgrade system, so the player has great reasons to hang out and be Batman and play as well as they can.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us. I'm very much looking forward to being Batman again.
You're welcome.
Thanks, man. This is Callum Wilson Austin, Dusty Cartridge, EB Expo 2013. Peace.